Hello there, and welcome to episode 42 of the Fandom Podcast. Today we have no Josh because he's in Leeds, or at least driving back from it. But we got Jack today, so hello Jack.
Hello, we don't need Josh when Jack is here.
Exactly, what you said. Yeah, so I am missing it next week anyway, so it's not, one for one. I guess it's not terrible. But like last week, we also had a fair amount to talk about. Jack, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Aaron. How are you?
I'm also very good. Recently watched the Die Hard films over the weekend.
They are the best Christmas films.
Yeah, well, my family wanted to watch episode 2 and 3. Movies 2 and 3. So I still haven't watched Die Hard 1, which is one I wanted to watch.
Best Christmas films.
Die Hard 2 is very cool, and Die Hard 3 is Samuel L. Jackson, and Die Hard 3 is also very cool.
Yeah. Enjoy them all.
Yeah, I'll probably do that for a Christmas film review, I think.
You should.
Yeah, I'll probably think about doing Die Hard 1 and 2. I think that would be decent, actually.
Yeah.
Right then, so let's start into She-Hulk episode 7.
Yes.
Alright, I'll start us off. So compared to of like the last few episodes, maybe like the last 3 or 4, this one wasn't actually that bad compared to other episodes we're talking about. I mean, we got to see some cameos from Marvel comic characters, like Porcupine, the vampire lad, I can't remember, Manbull. So it was pretty good to see. Yeah, I think that the first thing we see already about the Abomination or Emil Blonsky, I think he's making up some kind of lie. That it just seems like there's no way that it's in his character for one of his chickens to escape, and the thing goes off.
Yeah.
I feel like that he might be working for Thunderbolts or something, and that's why they didn't reveal the picture of him, because they want to in the Thunderbolts cast, because they want to create some big surprise, which isn't actually a bad idea.
I hope they do something like that. I mean, the Thunderbolts has been built on. I mean, we got the team photo. It looks decent, but I don't know how the Red Guardian fits into it. So I hope, I'm begging so something good happens.
Yeah, we might even see Val turn up in like a post-credit scene at the end of episode 9 and recruits Abomination, or we actually find out they've been working together the whole time. Who knows? Or another theory, which we'll get into a bit later on, is something to do with the leader, which would be interesting. But
yeah. Hasn't he been confirmed for Captain America 4, isn't it?
Yes, that is true. He's been confirmed as the main villain, and also other Hulks are turning up.
That'll be quite cool, to be fair.
Yeah, I think Samuel, I can't remember the actor's name, but it's good to see him actually returning for the role, because I think the leader is one of the highly anticipated characters in Marvel, so it will definitely be cool to see him come back.
It will. I'm very much so looking forward to it.
Yeah, but I hope we get to see him in this series. Before that, I think.
You know who else I hope we get to see in this series?
Who?
Daredevil. Not one mention of him. I'm fuming.
I will tell you this, Jack, because you did admit, you basically did just skip to this episode here. They did mention him in episode 5. I think there was a teaser at the end. You could say there was it was showing off his helmet. Luckily,
we've not bloody seen him yet. So.
Yeah, luckily he's turning up next episode. That's confirmed as well.
Yes.
I know, I'm happy about it too, but it'll be like a quite light-hearted one. So, it might not be a good Daredevil.
I'm looking forward as to how they actually introduce him, to be fair.
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing in California in the first place, actually, like LA. He's like...
How did he get there? He's blind.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. Yeah, I just... It seems, it seems a bit weird why he would be in LA, obviously, because his main place he goes is New York, so why does he go to LA randomly? We'll probably find out next episode, which will be interesting. But yeah, we also get to see Josh, who is the person that Jen She-Hulk is going out with. And he's working with this, Hulk kind of team.
Hulk thing.
Yeah, to get to get some of Jennifer's blood or skin or whatever, to get some of the She-Hulk skin. And it turns out that he's working for them, and you get some of the blood at the end of the episode, as we see. So, Jack, have you heard last week's episode of what it talks about on there? Because
I have not.
Yeah, basically, in the comics, he's a clone of Adolf Hitler.
What?
Yeah.
That's a bit naughty.
Yeah, I know that took a dark turn very quickly, but yeah, basically, I think he was a clone in Adolf Hitler in America, and then I think he didn't know for like the first 20 years of his life, and then he found out and took on the persona as him, basically.
I didn't know I was Hitler, so I pretended to be Hitler.
Yeah,
legend.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so I think that was She-Hulk. I couldn't really find anything else to talk about, really. I think we scratched everything. I think we'll definitely start to see a finale as some of these people will start to get exposed. Frogman is also going to be in the next episode, and we can finally see who some of the big villains are of this series. But I'm just glad I'm just glad it's ending, to be honest, because
same.
Yeah,
I did not like this show. It is bottom 5 Marvel shows for me.
it is worse than Miss Marvel, and that's saying something.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'd argue it's the worst Marvel show, actually. And it's just... Yeah. Alright then, so what's your episode rating for She-Hulk, even though I know you've only watched half of it, basically?
I am giving it a I'll give it a 6.
Alright, fair enough. I'll be a bit nice. I think I've given it a set. I'll give this episode a 7 out of 10. Okay, then next up is Andor episode 4, which I'm talking about. Alright then, where to begin? So it starts off with it starts off with Andor and Luthen. I swear that's his name, is it? I'm pretty sure it's Luthen. They escape Ferrix and head to a planet that I can't actually remember the name of. I'm not great with names here. He is. Yeah, he is Luthen. Good, got that name correct. So they go to a planet where there's basically like a rebel operation going on, and where there is the Empire, they have like a base there. I think like an air base, and Andor goes there, and he meets the leader of the small rebel party there, which basically basically plans to basically plans to go into the Empire building and steal the payroll from it. I think why to do this? I think to send a bit of a message. This is the first kind of look at the Empire. This is the first kind of look at the rebellion. Remember, so obviously they're trying to look at how it all started off, how it went from small things to all of a sudden big things, and this is one of the big things here. It shows Andor talking about, Cassian talking to Luthen about his wages and everything, and Luthen describes how wouldn't you rather give it all for something big than scratch at it, which is quite is a decent quote actually, because it basically sums up the rebellion. How instead of giving small shots at the Empire, just create the whole rebellion and completely go for it. So yeah. Later on in the episode, we get to see the the CIA of the Empire, the security agency, and we see them talking about different sectors, like different systems, like the Ryloth system, which is the planet where the Twi'leks come from, and obviously I think in Star Wars Rebels, we do get to hear a few mentions of them. Well, I think there is an episode dedicated to them where they're causing trouble on Ryloth for the Empire, so that could be a mention to that. And we also get to see something on something to do with the Rishi Maze, which is where Kamino is mentioned in Attack of the Clones, and also about Kamino. So maybe there'll be some kind of reference later on in another season or series later on in the series about Kamino, potentially about Bad Batch as well, how they how they were involved in the how they were involved in Kamino being destroyed. We meet the group of rebels that Cassian is working with. They're basically just like average people. Well, not average people, but they look like a decent team. So I do believe, I think one of them will end up being a traitor. I think that would make sense. And I feel like you can't always trust this kind of group with something as important as a rebellion. So yeah. Let's see, the security people that invaded Ferrix, like the police force, they've been dismissed of their duties. They've basically all been fired by by the security people that we talked about later on. And we see the main person that we saw last episode, episode 3. Let me quickly go up his name. He lives in the section, the poorer section of Coruscant. So yeah, he's I will say, while watching this whole episode, it looks a lot more realistic. Everything was a lot more realistic. It's the first time that Star Wars has seemed closer to real life. In other shows it's about Jedi fighting or Mandalorian cults or that kind of thing. But in this, it's just we actually have a look at the business side of the rebellion and people's actions, everyday people's actions and stuff like that. So and obviously the economy and how people live their everyday lives. So yeah, I think it's interesting to see. Other than that, I haven't got much else to explain. So I'll go ahead and give a rating for that episode. I'll give it a 8.5 out of 10. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to give Andor a watch.
Yeah,
Just
definitely
haven't got
do.
it.
Definitely do, because it's a great series so far. I do advise watching it for anyone. Um,
Yeah, I'm definitely going to.
mm,
There's no doubt about that.
yeah,
I need to finish She-Hulk. I need to start Rings of Power. I need to start Andor.
yeah. I think all three of them you can get through pretty quickly, like by the end of the week, quickly. So,
Yeah.
next up is Alien. Uh, Jack, I'll let you start up with Alien.
I'm not gonna lie, I have not watched this film in ages. I think the last time I watched it was maybe last Halloween. But it is one of my favourite horror films, as you know, the xenomorphs, the face huggers, they're just incredible. To me, when did this film come out? Like 80s, 90s.
1979.
To say that it looks very good for this time, like still.
Yeah, I
It's
mentioned
still
that. I mentioned that in my notes actually. They did for 1979. They did a great job of capturing the space horror feel and the actual special effects of the film.
Yeah, I think that is one of the most well made like horror films of that time. Because like back then, what do you have? Maybe the first Friday the 13th, and that didn't really look like too visually impressive. Uh, but Alien was ahead of its time. You know, quite simply incredible.
Yeah, I'd also say it's like the first. I'm not too familiar with the horror franchise, but I'd argue it's the first kind of horror film that doesn't follow like something happening on Earth, like an alien coming down to Earth, like what they do in the 50s, or some kind of psychopath or whatever, killing a lot of people on Earth. So yeah, I think it's quite interesting to, for the first time, actually moving away from that.
Yeah.
Um, I think while watching this film, I thought the person who played uh Ridley, no, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Ridley. She's a great actor. Obviously, she's in films like Ghostbusters and a couple of other things as well that I can't remember. But yeah, I thought she did this. I thought she nailed this role very well. And while watching this film, you can definitely see that they plan to develop future lore, like future alien lore. So like obviously with the ship at the when they crash on the planet, you can obviously see then that they want to develop like the Queen or and develop the planet itself. So yeah, I can definitely see you can definitely see that this film was it was planned to be the next big thing, the next big thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I haven't really got much else to say on that. Um,
Yeah.
I thought yeah, I think we covered everything for that. That was the first film that we are doing for Halloween. Obviously, it's now October, so every week we'll be doing something for Halloween. Next week we have obviously the release of Werewolf by Night, and we've got good stuff coming for the rest of October as well. So, yeah. Um, without further ado, Jack, what is your film rating then for Alien?
Well, as I said, I've not seen it since last year, but I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay. I've also given it an 8.5 out of 10.
Great minds think alike.
Exactly. Um, all right then. Finally, Rings of Power, episode 6. Um, let's see. Where do we start? So only just watched the episode today, so it's fresh in my mind. Um, Rings of Power starts off with the Adar and the people who the other half of the people, the Southlands people, left the village, heading up to the Elf Tower to, basically defeat the other half of the Southland people, and they're caught in a trap. I think a lot of them are killed, and the refugees, the Southland people, they're safe for now. So there's a bit of time while they're talking about how, they're talking about how to defeat them. We get to see their kind of plan, and just such as they talk about how such a small army can defeat these orcs. So, but yeah, we'll get onto that later on the fight. We didn't get to see anything on the king. What was his name? I can't remember. We didn't get to see anything on the dwarves or the elves today, and nothing on the Harfoots either. So, however, we did get to see the two stories collide, which are the Numenor storyline, like Galadriel, and the Southlands. So that's interesting to see. I'm glad there's some of the stories are starting to connect. I don't really see any of the other storylines connecting. Potentially, the Harfoots, something to do with, the stranger being Gandalf and maybe helping out Numenor, but I can't really see that happening. Just because of the facts, I think they've got their own problems to deal with currently. Both of them, as we'll get onto later on. So we get to see a big fight between Southland people and the orcs, or what we think is the orcs, as later on we see they're actually the other half of the people. Most just a little amount of them were orcs, and so about 2 minutes later, all of a sudden, all the orcs head off to, the rest of the orcs come over, and they catch the the Southland people off guard, and they easily defeat them. So, they aren't defeated, but they're caught off guard, and they're basically trapped. So, Theo, the boy, gives up the Sauron sword to protect the people, and also out of nowhere, the Numenorians come in, and there's a big fight where the orcs are easily defeated. And Adar is also captured. So a bit later on, we get to see Adar, what Adar's intentions are, and he said he just wanted a home for his people, and I don't think him and Sauron are on good terms. But the main thing we got out of that is he believes he killed Sauron, which obviously is not true. But it's interesting to see how. It'll be interesting to see. I think it definitely sets it up for Sauron's return at maybe the finale. So yeah. Let's see. Other than that, I think at the end of the episode we also get a big surprise of the sword basically being a key for something, and I didn't really suspect this at all, but the key is used to destroy the dam, and those tunnels that they were building, digging through at least, in one of the previous episodes where all the people were captured, and then they start digging, that would lead straight to the volcano, or the belly of the volcano, and we get to see that erupting at the end of this episode, which this is the start of Mordor. This is the creation of Mordor, and this is why basically the volcano exploding is the reason why the clouds are all grey, and is the reason why the orcs can actually survive in these lands. So that's what I was thinking of, how the orcs wanted a place to stay. or wanted a place to live. So, yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see for episode 7. What happens there? I don't think we'll get too much focus on Numenor. I think we'll get to see an episode devoted to the dwarves and the Harfoots, which will be good. And then finale, everything will tie in together, and it should be interesting to see. So that is the Rings of Power episode 6. I'll go ahead and rate this episode a 9 out of 10, just because of the fact that I think we got a lot more storyline progression, and we get to see a whole half of the episode and more was action, so it was great to see. Yeah, so let's see, we have a bit of leaks and theories. Well, I wouldn't exactly call it leaks and theories, I'd call it Ryan Reynolds' Instagram.
Yes, I am very happy.
Yeah, this is huge, to be honest, because when I saw this, I was like, I mean, what's this about? All of a sudden I click, I go to his account, and yeah, I see that Ryan Reynolds is like, he posted like a video of like Deadpool 3, and Hugh Jackman is coming back, and I'm loving it, to be honest. And that's going to be absolutely incredible. What are your thoughts on it?
Don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to it, but I hope they don't water him down for the MCU. Because if they do, that'll just be completely poo.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, I think, I think Hugh Jackman will stay as Wolverine for future projects as well, which would be interesting. In the MCU,
people saying that they want Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine, but I can't really see it.
I'm sorry, but he's just too small.
Exactly, he's too short. Unless they do VFX, which what they did on what was her name, Natalie Portman.
I just don't really see. I don't really see Daniel Radcliffe playing Wolverine. You wouldn't really think that of two people. You'd think Daniel Radcliffe playing someone completely different, not like Hugh Jackman style. Obviously, I can't really. They're two completely different roles, but you never really cross. You never really think that Harry Potter and Wolverine have the same kind of characteristics. They don't. They're just completely different. So that's why I just don't see Daniel Radcliffe really working. I'm glad Hugh Jackman is coming back, because no one else can be Wolverine.
Yeah, in my eyes, when I think of Wolverine, I instantly think of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, he's like one of them. He's one of them characters that he is the owner of, just like Michael J. Fox.
Them, like when you think of Iron Man, you think of Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, classic 80s films as well, like Michael J. Fox, Martin McFly, other characters like Johnny Depp, even Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow, and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine feels that the same kind of way. So
yeah.
But I think we'll be getting some kind of like a road trip, going across different universes, kind of film, which is good. Definitely good to see. And this film releases for 2024, I think, September. So
it's a long wait, but it'll be a good wait.
Yeah, like 2 years. I think 2 years is perfectly long enough for me to wait, I think, for this.
If it was like 3 years, that'd be a bit daft, but I'm happy it's only 2.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's definitely better that we didn't get this at D23. I think it's in his own kind of way. This works perfectly for Ryan Reynolds' character, and how he just blatantly asked Hugh Jackman, and I think it's great, to be honest. So yeah, that's Deadpool 3. Let's see, have we got anything else to talk about? Have you seen anything?
I saw the Werewolf by Night trailer. I saw a video of the new Ant-Man trailer that was leaked to people at D23.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Obviously, Kang. Well, yeah, we get to see Kang in the trailer, and
MODOK.
MODOK's in the. Oh, yeah. Have you actually seen a better look at it?
Not really. The one that I saw was like not really the best quality.
Yeah, did you see MODOK at least, or not?
I think you've seen him for a split second.
Yeah, they've definitely changed around the kind of look. They've changed the look from the Avengers game and the MODOK series itself. So we'll see how it goes, to be honest.
I don't see enough people talking about the MODOK series. I enjoyed it.
You know, they got cancelled for a season 2, I'm really disappointed about that because I love that series.
Yeah, it was such a good series.
I know, I usually just come home from a Friday night, all of a sudden, MODOK would be on. It was brilliant.
It was perfect.
I know, it's one of the, one of the funniest Marvel kind of things I've seen, to be honest. It just, I thought it was great.
And then Disney had to cancel it.
Yeah, or Hulu at least. I don't know, same thing basically. Which is really annoying, to be honest. I don't know what it got on Rotten Tomatoes, but I'd assume because they cancelled it, it probably got something quite low.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure, but I enjoyed it at least, and I'm very disappointed that they cancelled it.
Yeah, at least we got one season of it. Oh wait. Oh. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I forgot Jim Carrey was going to be playing MODOK.
What?
Yeah, now that it comes back to it, of course he's been confirmed for it. Yeah.
That's just legendary.
I swear. I swear he is, because I remember seeing this ages ago. Yeah, let's have a look here. Yeah, but anyway, I think I don't remember him being casted actually, which takes away Yellow Jacket or Bumble. No, like the Yellow Jacket. The guy from Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man film, being MODOK. So yeah, God damn it, I completely forgot about that, to be honest.
I disliked the Yellow Jacket. It was a nasty pasty.
Yeah, I thought he was a good villain, to be honest. But yeah, I don't remember that at all, to be honest. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think we have anything else to talk about. So, thank you very much for watching. Next week we have more like Josh asked, but I think he'll be talking about She-Hulk, Rings of Power, Andor, 2 Rick and Morty episodes, Werewolf by Night, and I think that's all, to be honest. So, I hope he enjoys doing all that lot. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.